Running to the door! We're getting out of the car!
Hi, Sue, you were late. We've been here for half an hour.
Mark.
Not everybody.
Hi guys. How are you?
I just tempted to when I hear those.
Jimmy. This is Walter, our old next door neighbor.
How you doing?
Great, how are you?
You know, we came, stayed 10 years and left. I never met you.
Hey, hello, Mark. Had a long time. All right, no idea. This got wild. Weeks, let me tell you. How pretty is it? Hold it off. Never again. Listen. Oh, don't ever give her a surprise.
Not a 65th. Yeah. Big wishy 785.
In my way, coming up, I had to switch the date because if I came up Friday,
Jeannie! Jeannie! Thank you.
How you been? Good to see you. Long time.
Nice head, Jeannie. Jeannie! Jeannie! Nice haircut. How's the pizza? How's the pizza? How's the pizza? Okay.
A few words, thank you.
We also want to wish happy birthday to a few other people here. My son my son John.
You still can't get it right.
Rob, John O'Donnell, Dick Meany, and Robin. And we also have a cake up there for them with their names on it.
Don't cut anybody with that.
They use that on you.
Before she cuts the cake, I think there's one thing that we need to do that we haven't done yet, and sing a happy birthday to her. So, on cue, ready, 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Susie. Happy birthday to you.
I did my part.
Special treat, I guess if that's what you want to call it. We have James to sing a song for you right now from Bobby Darin, a song called Beyond the Sea.
Beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me. My lover stands on golden sands and watches those ships that go sailing somewhere beyond the sea. She's there watching for me. If I could fly like birds on high, then straight to her arms I'd go sailing. It's far beyond the star, it's near beyond that moon. I know beyond the cloud, my heart would lead me there soon. Oh, with me beyond the shore, we'll
kiss, just as before. Happy we'll be beyond the sea, and never again I'll be saying, wah, hey, yeah, whoa, ha, hey.
That's not my dad.
Whoa, ha. Wah, hey, wah. I know beyond the doubt my heart will kiss. Oh, I know beyond the shore we'll kiss, just as before. Happy we'll be beyond the sea, and never again I'll go sailing. So I'm sailing, hey, up.
Ladies and gentlemen, James.
Now, for the roastmaster of the evening, I'd like to introduce Dr. Raymond Zambito.
Julia has to sing.
My brother-in-law with all of that. Oh, I think he had a little bit of gasp. Jim asked me to roast my sister, which is very difficult to do because Susie was always such a gentle and gracious person. And in order for me to put some of this in, well, at least when she was 2. Would you like to come up and tell us about it?
Juliet, you gotta get over stage. You're up on stage.
I have to, well, I'm not up there yet.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
No, wait. Just wait. All right, just wait.
in order to put a couple of my remarks in perspective, I have to tell you about where we grew up. We grew up in Greenwich Village. Now, for those of you who have never been into New York, Greenwich Village is a place where all of the, I guess in my day, all of the sharp people lived. You might call them hippies now, but it was a place where things happened. We lived in a 6-story, 38-family apartment house.
Tenement.
I beg your pardon?
Tenement.
Tenement.
Cold water flat.
I didn't know that until somebody told me that I was abused. In that apartment were grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins. So there was extended family all around. The apartments themselves varied in size. We lived in a 5-room apartment. We had a kitchen, a bedroom for my parents, a bedroom for Sue and I, and 2 rooms we put storage in. The bathroom was in the hall, and newspaper was what you used for the appropriate activities. As Pat Cooper, the comedian, would say, whenever somebody came to visit when they lived on Carmine Street, his mother would send him to the local store, the fruit market, and get the pink wrappings and iron them. That's what the guests used. At any rate,
That was
in this kind of an environment, it was really lovely because it was all family. And even though things were hard back in the 20s and the 30s, there was always love. Now, Sue and I grew up in a situation where we both shared the same bedroom. And we probably did this until, I guess, I was maybe 11 or so, and Sue was around 9, because we moved into another apartment because they were redoing the apartment house. One morning, while we were getting dressed, I noticed that my sister, who I think at the time was about 8, was walking around with her pajama top over her chest. And I couldn't, that's what I was trying to figure out. I couldn't, I thought maybe Susie was cold. And I said, what are you doing? What's the problem? Well, in those days, being 9 or 10 and not being too sophisticated, I thought everybody was built the same. And apparently my sister was experiencing some hormonal changes that I wasn't.
Can you experience Can you experience anything?
No.
Or older?
Maybe it's coming.
No, it's not. No, never mind.
And in this kind of an environment, everything was all done in the same room, the kitchen. Because the kitchen had one sink. That was the place where you washed yourself, the dishes, and the clothes. There was no hot water. You boiled it in order to, etc. It was fine because everybody we knew lived like that, and we were all happy. So it wasn't until later I found out that I was living in an abused environment. The area we grew up in is now called Soho. And I'm sure you've seen that in the papers. It means south of Houston Street. In New York, we don't know Sam Houston, but we know Sam Houston. And so, a few years later, when we moved to Brooklyn, and Susie was going to Bay Ridge High School, which was an all-girls high school, I'm sure many of you don't know that Sue was a musician. Anybody here know that?
Do tell, do tell.
I'm about to. Susie played the bassoon.
What? No, you never told me
In the
that.
school orchestra. Now, the bassoon is an instrument that's very long and very heavy. And you have to strap the instrument to your leg while you're playing it so it doesn't fall out of your mouth. I'm not sure why Susie got the role to play the bassoon.
He was the only one available.
The impression I had is that the leg was the only one that fit the strap. And so that's why she had to play it. My sister has always been very direct. She's always been the one who told you what was on her mind. You didn't have to concern yourself about speaking, behind your back or anything like that. And I suppose a person like that we could characterize as a front stabber. I want that word to go back to California.
It will. I will carry the tradition.
Jimmy, you get this?
We always think about backstabbers, and we think about, when we think about something that happened before, we always think about things that happened in the past, like a reference to something that we weren't quite sure of, a flashback. Well, I'd like to tell you that I wish my sister some wonderful flash forwards as she continues in her wonderful life with her husband and with her children and with all of you wonderful people who are here. Thank you so much.
No.
I had asked Julia early. By the way, Julia, one other thing I did want to mention to you. When Susie went to nurses training, she was a little bit older than most of the other gals. Because from high school, she went to work. And she was 23 years old when she entered nurses training with some 17 and 18-year-olds. One day when you have a chance, ask her about the activities that went on among the 17 and 18-year-olds that drove her to distraction. Julia, if you've spoken to Julia at all, you know that Julia speaks very quickly.
Volumes, not quickly.
And while we were having the early part of the evening, I said to her, Julia, please talk slower so you'll last the whole night?
He doesn't know my powers. First of all, I don't like
Go ahead, go ahead.
All right, first of all, I don't know who to roast. Susan because she turned 65, or Jim because he decided to have a surprise party. Don't do it again. If ever she turns 65 again, in May you have it, not
Oh, it's change your birthday.
So now, I was a little taken back when he said I would be the roast master.
Mistress.
Well, roast. First of all, like Dangerfield, I get no respect. If you notice, Ray was first, Bubs was second, I was last. No respect. All right. Well, secondly, I had to do a great job of acting. Definitely. Okay? And you know the particular delight you experience when you know something and the other one doesn't know it, right? So you just kind of go like this and you say, ha, 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 and you get drunk with power. And at that time, you see, I am American, but the Italian background just swamps me, right? And we get drama and a lot of feeling, right? So here I get on the phone and tell her that I want to come up because my job has been abolished, which was true. And I've never come up in the wintertime, though, of course. And we're having, well, when should you come, what? All right. So then comes the snow, the business of the snow. So I had made plans to come on a Friday on a 5:15 flight. Start hearing about the snow, oh no, I better change it to Wednesday. I don't know what to do. I call up American Airlines, I tell them, please change it to Wednesday. The tickets come in the mail, and they're for Friday. Call them back. I think I got acquainted with half of the entire staff at American Airlines. I called so many times to change and get up here, all because this one says, take the bull by the horns and come up here. I didn't know the bull was going to gore me. So in any event, I called Susan on Monday, which was just before the storm, and I said, Sue, I don't know what to do. Of course, I knew what I had to do. So she says, well, you know, she says, if you come up, I mean, will be snow. Oh, I love snow. She says, well, you do what your gut feeling is. What my gut feeling is, I didn't know what it was. Okay, I'll be up. So I do call American Airlines upon finding out that the snow was going to start at 5 o'clock. I wasn't going to risk that in the propeller plane, the commuter plane.
White Knuckle Airlines.
So I changed it to 5 to 1, and as I was leaving, there were the little snowflakes coming down. I said, goodbye, hello, Logan Airport. So I did make it, all right? Then started the great job of acting, because she's telling me, oh, you know, we're going to go out to dinner on Saturday night, as if I didn't know, right? So I said, oh, really? Why? Oh, we're going out with Charlie and Robin, and, oh, I said, I don't want to go with you. I'll feel like a bump on a log. She said, no, it's all right. You sure? I said, as a matter of fact, I almost didn't come up here. No, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. So she didn't know what I knew, and I said, oh, how wonderful. I'm acting so great, and she really believes everything I'm saying. So then the snow comes, of course, right? And now I got to show you something that I can think about roasting her about, right? The snow comes and she says, come on, Julia, let's get out there and, you know, shovel the snow. Okay, I come out. She gives me a shovel that you wouldn't give to a homeless guy. Thanks. Right, Sue? Am I okay. So she said, go ahead. So I stop. I get nowhere. Nowhere. So I just said, Susie, you know this shovel is not... She said, she's shoveling away, beautiful, sharp shovel, and she's shoveling. I said, I'm getting nowhere, and she doesn't care. Okay. I said, okay, Sue, I finished this. What should I do next? She says, oh, why don't you, now mind you, I'm 2 years older than she is. Why don't you go to the front of the driveway where the snow all those mountains? So I go out there, and I'm trying to chop, and I'm getting nowhere, zero. So I said, Sue, you know the shovel is really lousy. Manga baga. So then I said, hey, Sue, really, I need another shovel. She finally gave me one, and I did get all these snow mountain things away, these boulders, and along comes her neighbor, the one who almost ruined this whole thing. Ida's son comes along with his Jeep. He says, "Would you like to do my driveway?" "Oh, sure," I said, "definitely." He says, "Look, I'll come back with the plow." I wanted to say, "Why didn't you come sooner? I wouldn't have had to do this." The plow. So that's the disrespect I got. Now, anything else I can think of? Well, I could mention two things, and Susan would really have a ball on them because she sailed into me. When we were in Switzerland, you recall?
I recall.
We went to the Dolomites. We went to a resort that it was out of season, right? Yeah. So Terry and I walked into town, and then the time came for us to walk back. We said, "Gee, we want to walk back." She says, "Gee, I can't make it going up the hill." I didn't know she really was having a problem. So Terry and I said, "All right, so you take the shuttle home and we'll just go." Took off. She doesn't speak a word of Italian, of course, and she's in an Italian town. But that didn't bother me. So, you know, she comes back and she sails into me. "Do you realize what you did? How could you do this to me?" I didn't think I'd done anything to her. But I had left her, I see, in a town where she could not speak Italian. She tried to call on the phone to get the shuttle bus. And of course, the person on the phone didn't understand her.
Pronto.
And couldn't see the mannerisms that she was doing. You know, when you don't know the language, you go like this. Well, she couldn't see it. So I guess she was right. But was she right? Let me hear it. Don't you think she should be roasted for that? Let's hear it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Good, very good, very good. Okay. And then the next thing. Then while we're still in Switzerland, we were planning our itinerary every day. And she says to me, "Where do you think we ought to go today?" I said, "You know," and seriously, I did mean this. I said, "Why don't we go to the zoo?" She looked at me like I had 3 holes. I said, "Why not? I don't know. We might see."